What is going on, everybody? It is Shooting the Shit Uncensored, and I am your host, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And today, I'm joined by Eric Ryan, member of 440, independent professional wrestler, American professional wrestler, Deathmatch Champion as well, the ICW American Deathmatch Champion to be exact. And I'm very excited to have Eric on today. But guys, before we go any further, I got to thank those sponsors, the people that keep these lights on up in the Austin household. And first up, let's take a look at healthvape.com. Healthvape.com is your healthy vaping alternative, guys. All of their products, no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals, and they're vitamin infused. So guys, go and check out their vape and pod products. Use that promo code MWA pod to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS, sleefs.com. If you or someone you know is an athlete, you need to check out Sleeves, guys. What they've got: armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, headbands, boots, mouth guards, and they've even got those dirty boxes. You've heard me rave about these dirty boxes for ages. They've sent me boxes of the boxes, right? And I've got to say, I'm an active guy. I go to the gym. I work full time. I've got 3 kids. I do multiple podcasts. These boxes stay fresh, they stay dry, they stay comfortable, and when the belt buckle comes undone at the end of the day, my wife has a nice little giggle at what's at the front of the boxes, not what's inside them for a change, which is nice. So make sure you check out sleeps.com, check out those dirty boxes, and use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Guys, without further ado, let's get into my interview with Eric Ryan. And we are live with Eric Ryan. Eric, thank you for being on the show. Pleasure to have you on, man. Appreciate you giving up your time on this Saturday evening for you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Hey, it's an absolute pleasure, man. Hey, we got the mascot in the background as well, the Ryan cat.
That's not the good one. Andy's around here somewhere. I'm sure he'll pop up.
You got 2 cats?
3.
3 cats. So I'm assuming you choose cats over dogs in this case,
Yeah.
in a lot of cases.
I have kids. It's
Sorry?
I just trade them for children.
Well, fair enough. Yeah. But man, like getting into it, dude. We were talking before. You mentioned, obviously ICW. They've announced that they're coming down to Australia, which is massive. Seeing independent companies now making the trip down to Australia, being able to see. So a lot of the fans of this product, of the chains, of the pit, can now see this live, which is a huge, huge thing. What was your first initial reaction when you were told that, hey, you guys are going to go traveling, international with this brand?
Fucking awesome. In life, my 2 bucket list places to go were Japan and Australia, and it's just like done. Like, I mean, the 2 big things I really wanted to see in the world. So it was one of those kind of cool things.
I feel Japan is the place that every professional wrestler in the world wants to go to at least one point of their career. What is it about Japan that draws pro wrestlers to that country?
I think just they have a higher skill level than I think anybody on the planet. Fans are a little bit more respectful. They actually enjoy wrestling instead of just shitting on it constantly. And then just the culture in general, just being there was just the complete opposite. It felt like from being in America. Everybody was nice. The streets were clean. There was no trash anywhere. Like, it was a wild place.
You mentioned, the fans being more respectful. In obviously, the last few years we've seen, a shift in pro wrestling as far as, attitude. We had the speaking out movement, which cleaned up a lot of the bullshit and scumbags that have been in the business and just fucking polluting with their toxicity. But, how do you find the fans based in America, today compared to like 5 years from past?
Uh, that's a good question, to be honest. Like you said with the speaking out, I think people have more access, people are more vocal, and people are more willing to, I guess, put things out there. And then it just seems a lot of it's more negativity than positivity, in a sense.
Yeah. And that's the thing I find, like, the internet wrestling community and wrestling fans as well can be so toxic. I was talking to Greek God Puppeton, who's big into the Star Wars thing, and he said like Star Wars fans and wrestling fans, they're just as bad as each other. Where some days it's worse than that, and it just blew my mind that like if you could love something so much, enjoy something so much, you know what I mean? Why would you bring a negative connotation to it? Why would you be like, yeah, fuck this shit? Like, why watch? Why
Yeah.
even get involved?
Just enjoy it for what it is, even if it's like bad and you don't like it. You know what I mean? To a fault, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's always going to be good wrestling and bad wrestling, and you know what? Like, you have to have the bad wrestling to really appreciate the good. I feel like as a fan.
So I mean, you don't like you said, you don't have to love everything. Just recently, WrestleMania, Sami Zayn in Knoxville, I loved it. I'm
Yeah.
sure there were there that fucking hated it and thought it was a joke to wrestling, but it was one of the best WrestleMania matches to ever happen.
Look, I agree, and the thing was, it was what it was. It was not going to be, Macho Man versus Steamboat. It wasn't going to be Shawn Michaels versus Brett. It was what it was, and for what it was okay. You know what I mean? Like, it was a bit goofy and gimmicky, but fuck it.
Yeah,
Like it's wrestling.
I expected that coming in. I wasn't, expecting Johnny Knoxville to turn into Chris Benoit and put on a clip.
Yeah, put on a clinic of suplexes. But it's funny though, like a lot of people will look at things for opportunities just to shit on, but as a performer for you, is that in your mind before you go out there and perform? Are you like thinking, how am I going to be perceived? You know, I hope I don't fuck up because I don't get this ridicule, or do you just try and have a clear mindset going into a match?
Pretty much a clear mindset. I mean, just worry about what I need to do when I get inside the ropes and or chains and or barbed wire, depending on what it is. I'm not too worried about how people are gonna, I guess, perceive me because I feel like I kind of know how they are going to, depending on where I'm at.
Yeah. And going into that, like, with 440, I feel like 440 has been one of those stables which has been able to generate a lot of heat. And I think in this day and age of wrestling where I think people have so much access to you and your colleagues in the business, to be able to go out and garner that heat and to have people throwing trash and to get that organic heat, like, to me, like, that's the shit that really gets me excited about the business, where I can see a group of people go out there and get that reaction and really get the crowd that invested for it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I remember that first time as soon as I ripped off the shirt and everything happened and the trash and it was just so much beer and water and ice and cans and just cups. It was everywhere. I've never seen people so pissed off in my life.
But like that's the thing, like, when you're getting like bombarded with stuff happening, are you thinking, fuck yeah, this is a perfect reaction, this is like NWO type of heat? Or
Yeah.
are you thinking, fuck me, Dad, what are they throwing? Like, is there ever a fear of someone throwing something in there that could really do damage
Like
to you?
and stuff probably would be, because especially if it's somebody behind you and you don't see it coming, but I'd like to believe people are smarter than that.
Oh yeah, like I think that the fans now would be a bit more respectful, and I think if they're gonna do like an ECW style chair spot, which has probably been done, multiple times before, and never captured the same thing, but in now, like, do you think a chair spot like that could work in wrestling, or do you think there's not many people who want to be involved in that from a safety aspect?
From previous experience, probably the latter.
Yeah.
Actually, it was when I was wrestling against Ricky. I was tagging with another guy, and we did the chair riot thing, and someone threw a chair and hit him in the back of the head, and it ended up giving him a seizure.
Oh
So he had
shit.
a seizure mid-match, and then we pretty much had to completely just take him out of the equation and just finish what we had to do.
How scary was that to see someone like
It was
go through that?
like, I mean, it was like the Devon Dudley cell just in real life.
And
Like,
like,
it was right, like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
did the crowd know what was up, or was it just
no,
like
yeah.
that's nuts? Like, how was he after? Like, he got to the back, and
I mean, as far as I can remember, he was fine once we got to the back. I don't think he had to go to the hospital or anything. I mean, he probably should have, but
yeah, I mean, like, I think that's the thing with a lot of you guys. Like, going to the hospital must be like the last resort. Wanting to go there, even like for small things, but with the deathmatch wrestling, like, do you ever, like, after you've just been involved in some crazy shit, do you ever go, man, fuck this? Like, there's no way I want to do this again. And then,
I,
like, come to the next show and you're
before
like,
after every match, to be honest, I don't know. There are some things I will say fuck this to completely and never touch it, but for the most part, I don't know. It's a thrilling experience that you just can't get anywhere else, I guess. So I
yeah.
guess risk is worth the reward.
But, like, with deathmatch wrestling, like, what was it for you that really sort of went, you know what? This is where I want to make my mark. This is what I want to do. I want to be involved in this genre. What was it for you that really drove you towards it?
I've always been a fan. Uh, and then I just kind of dipped my toe here and there. And then I did a show out in Wisconsin, I think. Yeah, it was. I think it was like Danny Havoc's like last show back then, and
Yeah.
then I was wrestling Jimmy, and that's kind of when I went like full tilt into it. And then like after I was done with it, I was like, "This is fucking great! Like I want to do this all the time."
Do you think that deathmatch wrestlers now like get sort of okay, you're a deathmatch guy, and like if you wanted to say go, hey, I just want to do a regular booking and just have a straight up wrestling match, a promoter's like, no, that's not what we want from you. We want you to do this. Like, do you feel like it puts you in a certain category where that's where only promoters want to see you involved in?
No, because I think, I mean, with my past, I guess, experience with wrestling and people seeing like John Wayne, Bobby Beverly, trying to think of like other deathmatch guys that have actually Alex Colon, like actually being able to wrestle. Like if people remember it, Alex was the fucking best of the best in
Yeah.
CZW. Like he can wrestle, like, but he just chooses this alternate route. Other examples like Necro Butcher Masada, both fantastic fucking wrestlers.
Yeah, and I think that that's the thing where like, and I've had Joel Bateman on, and he's said this as well. Like, there's good deathmatch wrestling, there's bad deathmatch wrestling. Same with like good comedy wrestling and bad comedy wrestling.
Yeah,
And bad comedy wrestling can be fucking painful, um, which is
like it's very painful.
yeah, but like to me, when I work, like I've always been a huge fan of deathmatch wrestling. When I was younger, there was something that drew me to it, whereas like the level of violence that you saw wasn't the regular stuff that I was seeing on WCW or WWF at the time. So there was something that drew me towards it. It was almost like the underground punk rock scene. Uh, and now over the years, seeing how deathmatch wrestling has evolved, it's like I said, bad deathmatch wrestling where guys are sort of like walking around and doing this. Like you know what I mean? Like you're taking the illusion out of it. You know what I mean? We know it's a work, but at least
Yeah.
like have that, give us that illusion, like make us believe in that moment. Because when you walk around doing that, and I've seen that happen in matches where it's just like, okay, you know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. But to see guys like you said, like Alex Colon, Masada, yourself, Ricky Shane Page, be able to go out there and have these amazing matches, incorporate these deathmatch weapons, uh, and use those weapons to elevate the match and to tell a more in-depth story, teasing it a little bit.
Yeah. I think people just get lazy and complacent. My biggest pet peeve, and I'll throw this out there, maybe people stop fucking doing it. Stop being lazy and just getting a gusset plate pounded in your head. I don't need to see it for 6 matches straight. It's fucking awful.
I agree, man. And the thing is, as well, like from what I've seen on a lot of shows, from my perspective, is I think a lot of performers on cards need to watch the matches that are happening before theirs to understand. You know what I mean? Like you see someone go out there and they're like, working the leg or something like that. And then the next two matches are coming out and they're doing the same submissions or something like that. I think you need to be able to see what's on the card, understand and know and communicate as well.
Yeah. Like I've wrestled I think this happened at AIW where there was a rule where there was no low blow roll up finishes because there was a show, I think it happened 4 or 5 matches in a row. So that finish got just straight up banned.
But you know what? Were you seeing that happen? Like, when you see CYN saying no super kicks, no dives to the outside, and no Canadian destroyers, and you know what? Like, to be honest, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, because those are three of the most over fucking used things. And it's like a Canadian destroyer, like, does it mean much now? Like, is it a finish now? Not really. Like,
Not for me. Never taken one, never will.
it looks nasty as fuck. You know what I
Um,
mean? Like when done correctly, and it looks nasty as fuck when done incorrectly.
you can throw a pane of glass at my face. Just don't give me a Canadian destroyer. I'm good. I'll pass.
As far as like taking stuff, like is there anything, like you mentioned, like there's certain things that you just refuse to do, like from safety wise? What are they? Like what is the limit for you in deathmatch wrestling?
Let's see. My biggest two would be no bare feet ever.
Yeah.
I don't have those necro feet. I have the complete opposite. Like they're straight up baby skin feet, and I can't do it. It's just not.
Yeah.
And then I'm at this point over skewers. Don't want any part of it. They're completely on the no list. I just like
Oh,
give me just strict glass, and I'm a happy camper.
but like with glass, like have you ever had any serious injuries from that? Like had something like gone, holy shit, I'm in a world of fucking trouble here?
Yes, on a pane of glass. I'm trying to think of the move. The Nick Mondo, when they're on the shoulders and they go forward.
Yep.
That's called Salt Driver.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy did that to Marcus while I was behind a pane of glass in the corner. Shredded my arm completely.
How,
Uh,
like stitches, or was it just like down to the
uh,
bone?
I'm trying to think. If I close this window, will it stop the camera or anything?
No, yeah, it will stop the camera, but yeah, it's fine. We can still hear you.
I will send you the photo right now on Instagram.
No worries, I'll bring it up. Oh wow. That is some fucking nasty shit. I'm not gonna show it just in case anyone's got a sensitive stomach, but damn, bro, that is some fucking deep cut.
And my
What?
stupid ass just wrapped it up and goes, I'm fine. And drove all the way home from New Jersey, which was about 8.5, 9 hours roughly. And
Oh,
then went to the ER. And that was a very poor choice because right afterwards I got a very bad case of MRSA and had to get drain tubes and surgery and all that nonsense.
oh, dude, that's crazy. All because of this injury that happened and just waiting to.
Yeah.
That's nuts. So now, like your perspective on that, are you when you see if you have something like this happen, would it be like, all right, straight to the hospital, get this sorted? Or,
Little older, a little wiser, I guess.
well, that I think that's the case. Pardon me. You know, with a lot of cases, and we made mention as people sort of as they get older, understanding the psychology, but also understanding the safety aspect of being able to go. You know what? I want to come back and do this next weekend, so I got to take care of myself.
And understanding things just hurt a little bit more when you get a little bit older. And just accepting at this point.
Have you ever been, in a match and had like a moment of hesitation with something like whether it been up on a scaffold or been in a spot where you've gone, okay, fuck it, let's go.
Yep. The finals of King of the Death. Another big thing of mine is I don't like heights. And Ricky pretty much forced me up there. And he's like, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. And I was like, I don't want to. And then I eventually got all the way up there. And then once I was up there, I was like, well, fuck it. I got to get down.
But once you did it, was it like, okay, I overcame a fear, or you're like, yep, nah, fuck that, never doing it again.
Nope.
Fuck you, Ricky.
I was one and done. Like, that's it. I'm good.
Yeah, because that's the thing I will find. I'm the same. Like, dude, I'm 5'6", so I stand on a step ladder and get fucking dizzy. You know what I mean? It's my wife's like, "What sort of man are you?" I go, "One that doesn't like fucking heights, baby girl."
Fact. Thank you.
But it's one of those things. But like, as far as the independent scene over in America, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's probably like one of like such a hot scene where you guys run shows nearly 7 days a week over there, which is something I'd love to see here in Australia. I just don't think we have that size of a market for it. But having shows so often, like how many times do you try and do you try and wrestle weekly, monthly? Like, what is your schedule like for you?
At this point, like it's usually once or twice, even sometimes 3 times a weekend. Like it's pretty full, with the exception of I think today would be just a nice day off, which is kind of nice to have a little bit of rest here and there. So because coming up, there's a pretty hectic schedule coming up. So it'll be a little bit of a like everywhere from LA to Chattanooga to Rochester, New York. So I'm going as far east and then as far west and everywhere in between.
So wrestling is your full time gig now?
It could be, I guess, if I maybe wanted and tried to pursue more like of those weekly bookings, it could
Sure.
be a thing. But right now, I work in the mornings at UPS and I load trucks. So I'm the guy that puts packages in the trucks.
Wow,
So
that's cool.
I'm dented and fucked up. It happened before it got to me. So
And how do people like that you work with, like when you turn up, like with gig marks and cuts and bruises and stuff like that? Like, what do your colleagues think of what you get up to on the weekends?
there was only at one point only one person knew about it. Is like when they hired me in, I talked to like the actual like manager and I was like, yo, I was like, I got this thing going on. I was like, I need these days off. And I was like, before I get hired in, I was like, I want to make sure this is cool. And then he was like, oh, fine. And then until then, I told nobody until the spot with JJ Allen where I lit his dick on fire. And then at work found it and they're like, yo, they're like, you do this? And I'm like, fuck. Like it's one keep it as low key as possible until people actually found out. And then now everybody's like excited, like, yo, where are you going this weekend? What are you doing? Like now they're
Well,
kind of in.
that is pretty cool. But like, I gotta ask. So you do a spot where you light this guy's dick on fire. Who came up with that, and how did that come to be? Tell me about that.
Long story short, it was his idea. Uh I didn't want to do it to begin with because I don't like fire. Like I don't like fucking with it. And then here we go.
It's
Like
unpredictable.
the one time I decide to do it, shit goes down. But it was just one of those. I don't know. It just kind of things happened how they happened, and I'll never forget. After putting the lighter fluid on him, I turn around. This guy looks me dead in the eyes and he goes, "You don't have the fucking balls." And I turned around and lit it, and then turned around and looked him right back in the eyes.
But you know what? Like, I can just like you said, it was his idea. Like, I can just imagine someone going up to someone going, "Hey, man, I got this great spot. I'm gonna dip your dick in lighter fluid and light it on fire." You cool? Like, to have that mind, that's a pretty crazy idea to come up with, even for yourself.
To be honest, too, the only thing I was kind of mostly worried about was the pre-show meeting. Ian said, "Do not touch the wall." He goes, "Everybody just stay." He goes, specifically, "Stay the fuck away from this wall." And after he got up, the first thing he ran over is to the wall. So I'm on the apron, just kind of like looking over. I'm like, "Motherfucker!" I was like, "He's going to the wall."
What was it about the wall that Ian wanted protected?
I think they had just put it up, and it was like
Yeah,
their separation from the other unit that was next to him.
yeah.
At least I
S-
think. And don't 100% quote me on that.
No, no. You mentioning Ian Rotten, who has had a reputation over the last couple decades for many, many things. Like, I won't go into it, but how like have you found dealing with Ian Rotten? Because I think there has been probably a shift in him, from what I understand. Like,
I personally have never had any problems with Ian. Like, I love going down the IWA. Like, I always have fun at IWA. Like, I don't know. Me and Ian get along. I guess we see eye to eye, have the same ideas, and he's obviously treated me well. So,
yeah. And you know what? I think as well, there's always like learning experiences in life, in business, and stuff like that. And everything that you see from him now, like, people can say a lot about him, but in reality, he's done a lot for independent wrestling. He's done a lot for pro wrestling. He's given a lot of guys a stage, from the '90s up until now, and must be like one of the longest running, indie feds going in the States.
'cause I feel like even if it weren't for IWA, like a lot of people wouldn't have seen the Tyler Blacks, the Seidel's, like a lot of those guys started coming through. The CM Punks, Heroes, like nobody would have known who those guys were if it weren't for Ian and like running weekly shows and like their face getting out there constantly. Uh, sorry.
No.
Uh, just lost my train of thought. But like, you know what I mean? The more, and they also got more reps. They got better. And then people started seeing Punk's promo, and then between his promo and his entrance is how he got to Ring of Honor. And then more eyes got him out him there, and then from there to WWE. So I'm not saying he's responsible for his success, but it's one of those things. Like a lot of people went through those doors,
Oh
essentially.
yeah, man. Like, dude, like, one of my favorite matches to watch is IWA match for, I think, Hero and Punk. It was like a TLC match which went for like 90 minutes or something ridiculous. And I watch that match like fucking once every couple of months because it's that good.
So that's one where he gives him the Pepsi plunge like off the top onto the ladder,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And the referee snaps and starts like whooping up. Like, that's the only spot I go, "Ugh." The referee spot is the thing I think that doesn't do the match any favors. But hey, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a spot. I know my place. I'll sit here and just enjoy.
Fair.
Yeah, but also, with 440, as I mentioned, becoming one of the heat magnets in the indie scene over in the States. How did you guys come to be? Like, were you guys all boys? Obviously all from Ohio guys. I'm assuming, and
So be. Oh, sorry. You keep
no,
going.
okay. No, I
Uh,
was just saying, how did it form? And
yeah. Besides Atticus Koger and Eddie Only, like me, Greg, Ricky, and Bobby, pretty much. I mean, Ricky was before us, but we all pretty much started around the same time. And then early on, we all traveled together a little bit, wrestled in the same circles, and then like there was a point where I think it was when Ricky, or I think one of us, like we all just kind of pretty much split apart and just went our own ways for probably 5 6 years,
Mhm.
and then slowly started like migrating back towards each other again. And then that's when Ricky was training Eddie Only and then Atticus Koger. And then they started the whole deal. And then I wasn't part of it until completely after, probably maybe like 6 months to a year afterwards.
Mhm.
So it's one of those like we've all known each other for a long time. So
And it definitely seems like a natural progression. Like you can see that there's like a bond with you guys, and you can definitely see how you guys work. You can see that chemistry there in the ring. And as we said, like to get the heat that you guys have gotten, I think to be able to be a unit like that, you have to be able to like know each other, trust each other, and really have each other's back in a lot of cases there. Like especially with the level of shit that was thrown at you. Like I think Ricky got spat on at a show, if I'm correct, or one of you
Yeah,
guys got spat on.
I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Which is great heat, but at the end of the day, like spitting on someone, like wrestling fans, like fuck me, man, like boo, yell whatever you need to yell, just don't touch the workers, don't spit on people. That's fucking gross.
Yeah, most of the time, like it wasn't spit. Like a lot of people just did like homophobic slurs, but that was about it.
Yeah, I mean, even like I find it funny, like people that use homophobic slurs. Like, it's 2022? Is that supposed to be an insult? Like,
Yeah,
really? It's like, it's like the old guys in the 60s from the 90s. You know what I mean? Like, just, oh, they're queer. And, it's just fucking stupid.
yeah, 100%. But usually, once that happens, like everybody just kind of stops and finds that person. They're like, "Yo, get the fuck out!" Like,
Mm. And I think that that's the good thing now. Like, obviously post speaking out, but also wrestling fans as well. I've seen shows where, like, and been at shows where someone yells something out and someone in the crowd just fucking checks them. I was about to, and someone goes, "Hey, come on, man. Like, really?" And the person was like, "Oh,
yeah,
yeah." And they realized, like, oh, shit, check themselves. Hey, I'm sorry. I fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, no problem, and go in from there.
like
Is it the
have
same
fun,
way?
all in on the act, but like don't be an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a certain limit. Like, yeah, you can yell whatever you want out, but like, just because you physically can doesn't mean it's morally right to do it.
Sure.
But as far as with you guys now with 440, what is it that you guys want to be able to do moving forward? Like, is this going to be a long-term stable like we've seen with the blackout over the last 15, 20 years? Do you guys want to be able to keep this going for as long as possible, or do you have like a shelf life for it?
As long as possible. I mean, as long as the foreseeable future allows it. I think I would like to see all of us overseas together at one point too. I think that would be an interesting dynamic somewhere of us, quote unquote, invading somewhere overseas.
That'd be a cool thing, like Ohio goes to Japan, or or 440, sorry, does Japan and stuff like that. How close to that goal do you think it is for you guys to do that?
I mean, I think it's reasonable and doable. It's just a matter of when, where, and how.
Yeah. And as far as that, like you mentioned Japan and Australia are your two places that you want to go. Have you had a chance to travel internationally, and go and see some parts of the world?
Been to the UK, like Birmingham, Wales, like that area, Cardiff, and then been to Mexico, a good handful of times. I fucking love Mexico. Uh, it's always a good time. The weather's always fantastic. I can eat like a king for cheap. Just street meat everywhere, and it's some of the best like homemade food you'll ever have.
That's incredible. But how's like the healthcare over in Mexico? Like, you go and do a death match down in Tijuana. Like, are you going to be going to a hospital? Like, what's the like?
Uh,
Is there a hesitation there?
Pleasantly surprised at Zona. I got a pretty decent cut when I was there,
Yeah,
and there was a what 3, 4 doctors on site. One was bilingual, spoke perfect English, and then the whole time he was so mad, he was talking, and he actually had his assistant with him. And I don't know if he was trying to get like his license and just do stuff properly, but he's like, "Do you mind if I film this for him?" And he's like, "No, it's fine." And then he's like, he's still learning. Do you mind if he finishes it up?" And I go, "Yeah, that's fine." So I just had a couple different guys like sewing me up. I'm just in some office in a junkyard, bleeding everywhere.
a junkyard. It wouldn't sound too sanitary. Were
It,
you like, what the?
it was one of those things. It was an experience to do it, and I was, I guess, happy to do it when I was down there. But I don't think ever again. The junkyard is just not on my to-do list anymore.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that. But as far as, injuries go and stuff like that, like I've still got this photo up on my screen and I've got to remove it. But, is that one of the worst injuries that you've ever sustained? Like, obviously, like it took over. Pardon me?
I'll send you a worse one. Hold on.
Oh, God. What are we going to see here? But guys, just taking a quick second, make sure you check out our sponsors, healthvape.com and sleeps.com. Use that promo code MWAPod to get a 10% discount. Getting into like the injuries and stuff like that, is there ever been something where you've gone, you know what? I think I want to quit the business. Like, has there ever been that moment for you where you've just gone, I don't know if I want to do this?
Maybe this moment.
So this is going to be a pretty crazy injury, I'm assuming.
Yeah, here, I'll send you like a little before and after.
Here we go.
All right, send it over now. I have video too. I can send you.
Holy shit!
That was from Schlack when it was me, him, G Raver, and Matt Tremont in a 4-way, and I took an Alabama slam on a shopping cart, and that shopping cart went 4 inches into my lower back.
Oh,
and that 4 inches of metal was a 1/4 inch away from poking through my kidneys and then completely severing my colon.
Jesus. Fuck, that's crazy. Like, that first photo looks like a gunshot. That's nuts.
Yeah, it got stuck. Like, I had to take my fingers and actually go in my back and kind of like hook it and dig it out. It was one of the grossest things I ever had to do.
That's nuts. And like, how long did it take for you to recover from that? Because that looks fucking that looks horrendous, man.
I think it was what, 20 something days afterwards I went to Japan.
Jeez. And like, were you like fully healed at that, or were you still fucked up?
Like all the swelling and bruising went down, and like the stitches pretty much kind of closed.
Yeah.
That was I was worried about them busting it open, but everything was fine.
That's nuts. But like, dude, 20 days after the fact, like that looks like 6 months on the shelf, dude. Like, were doctors telling you?
Let's see, the whole experience is weird. Like, I've explained this a few times, but I'll just kind of give you like a smaller version. Basically, I was treated like shit the whole time. Like, there were armed guards that walked by the room. Like, it was really weird. There was a point where they told me to completely strip down. I'm just on the bed, and I was like, "I have a blanket," and they just threw the blanket at me. And I was like, "Okay, this is how this is gonna go." I had to get like a multitude of scans, tests, other stuff. And what was really weird, usually they'll just like numb the area up to sew you up, but instead they gave me an IV of liquid Xanax and knocked me out. So like they were like, we're gonna give you some Xanax, and I was like, why? And they're like, we're gonna sew you up, and I had no idea. Like, I had passed out for 40 something minutes. I think they said. I had no idea.
Fuck.
They tried to keep me overnight. Well, first they were going to discharge me. And then I'm getting dressed. I'm getting ready to come back in the room. They're like, sorry, the doctor wants you to stay. And I was like, no, I got to go. So I had to medically discharge myself. And like the whole time there, they wouldn't give me any ibuprofen, aspirin, nothing. Like, I couldn't get anything to fucking alleviate any bit of pain. So the ride home was spent just like every hour, just like mouthing ibuprofen and Tylenol and just trying to numb that area up after. I think they put 4 stitches in it, I think.
Yeah.
I think I sent you the one with the stitches in it.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
But they had to keep it open because of my previous history of MRSA, because if that got infected, it needed to be able to drain.
Jesus, that's crazy. Like, to discharge yourself, was it just because you were like, this hospital sucks, I'm not getting the treatment? And
I was with somebody that lived in Pennsylvania, and the other one lived in Chicago, so they kind of had to get home. So I was like, I gotta go.
yeah, right. But what, like, is hospital care, like, is that like a standard thing, like that sort of treatment? Like, was it Do you think is like, oh, this is a self-inflicted thing? It's like not as important. Like, what was the whole thing there?
It's New Jersey. Fucking New Jersey sucks. uh, but back home, I guess I'm a local celebrity at the ER because every time I go in, they ask me what happened. They want to see videos. They want to see photos. Like, they're more interested because they just love. I don't know what it is. Maybe because they just want to cut shit out of me. I had a doctor once. I went in and I was like, I think I have glass in my low back. And then he's poking at me. He's like, here. I go, no, here. I was like, no. He goes, here. I go, yep. He goes, okay, I'll be right back. Comes back with numbing material and a scalpel and is just digging in my low back. No x-rays, no scans, no ultrasounds, no nothing. This man just came in to work and was just bored and was like, fuck it, I'll cut this kid's back up. Just was rooting around. And there was that point where I'm just sitting there and I hear like this creak, 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 like this squishing sound. I was like, is that you? And he goes, mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, and then you find out that he's not a doctor. He's just the guy that cleans. He's like, I'll give it a fucking crack. But I always wonder, like how weird the conversations would be for pro wrestlers that go into like the ER as like, and then the doctor comes in saying, so you said Super Destroyer came and hit you with a Canadian destroyer? Like,
Yeah.
Did the police, were the police called? And what is a Canadian destroyer? Is that a drug?
I think the only time I've ever been severely yelled at is with the first injury when I drove home and the nurse ripped me a new one on why I waited so long. And it's like I should have went to the ER there. She was not thrilled with me. Every time after that, like they know as soon as I come in, they're like, all right, what did you do? Like, where is it? Like,
You're like, but that's the thing. It sounds like that's the old game Operation. I don't know if you had in the States back in the day where you have to take So it's like you're the human form of Operation for these guys by the sound of it.
they have to have a slow day, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're like, here comes Eric, let's go.
Like I think we've had people like the appointment's going on and other people open the curtain and be like, oh, I heard the wrestlers here. Like they're peeking there.
But I suppose as well, like, obviously for your hospital, but like it's a bit different. They know you on a first name basis. But I think for a lot of hospital staff, it would be like different. It'd be like the interesting thing coming in. Oh, it's a professional wrestler. It got here that blah blah blah. Oh, they got barbed wire and glass stuck in them. What sort of
Well,
wrestling?
when I go in, I'm not expecting to be treated like a king, but like don't treat me like a piece of shit. Like I'm so well aware that I've done this all to myself. Like you know what I mean? Like I get reminded.
But as far as it goes for you for like longevity, do you see yourself, doing deathmatch for a long time? Like, have you thought like, okay, like we see some guys have gone, okay, like even Ricky, I think he has tried to step away from death matches. Drake Younger, stepped away from death matches and just wrestled regular matches. Is that the mindset that you and a lot of guys have? Is like, okay, I'll do this genre for a few years, and once I get that how I'm feeling, maybe start segregating back into regular matches to wind down the rest of the years of the career.
Me, no, I don't mind regular matches here and there. I get more nervous for those, to be honest. There's something about the glass and everything that I almost feel like the more glass and the more danger there is, like the more comfortable and relaxed I feel, which should be the complete opposite. Like it should be just panic and sheer terror. I don't know. There's just something calming about it. And maybe that's what draws me to it. I
But I
don't know.
think when you've done it for as long as you have as well, like how to do this as safe as possible. You have these elements there. There's always going to be, accidents happen. There's always going to be things where shit goes pear shaped, and that's just the way it is in regular wrestling. But for deathmatch wrestling, there is that extra element of, things that can go wrong. Have you ever been involved in a match where something has gone wrong, whether your opponent's been concussed or badly hurt? You mentioned, Ricky having a seizure. Um, Have you ever seen someone seriously injured and gone in the match and gone, holy fuck, like, what do we do from, like, where does this go? Like, everything's just gone out the window.
There was one time with Dale Patrick's. Sorry, Dale, that this happened. It was at Prince of the Deathmatch. There was a spot where I was supposed to hit him with a guitar, and I saw a guitar, but I did not know there was a gusset plate fixed to the bottom of said guitar.
Oh,
And I swung at his face like it was the home run derby. And I split him open very badly. And it was to the point where it was just like done. Like it was bad. Like I felt terrible for doing that because I didn't mean to, obviously, but fucking gusset plates, they're dumb.
how how bad? Like, was he like cool after, or was he like, what the fuck? Like, was he? You know, because it
No,
sounds like it was just one of those freak
like
accidents.
I mean, it was one of those freak accident things.
Yeah, like that's man, fuck. Gusset place to the face with a swing guitar is definitely not something you'd want to be
It was
involved in. But
very easily and very fast.
yeah, no, I can imagine. But you know, another thing I was interested in asking you as well, and I like to get the perspective on this from a lot of workers, is the last few years we've seen intergender wrestling becoming something more and more seen, uh, regularly on shows. Personally, I was never a big fan of intergender wrestling because I come from a generation where we were brought up you don't hit girls, and it's like that awkwardness of it. Recently I've been able to enjoy intergender wrestling because I can sit down and go, all right, take gender and all this away and enjoy a good wrestling match. And as we said before, good wrestling's good wrestling. It doesn't matter who's involved in it. There can be a good match.
Yeah.
How do you feel about intergender wrestling and where it's at?
It's just like we were saying earlier with deathmatch wrestling and everything else. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's really bad. I think there are women that can do it, and there's women that shouldn't do it.
Mhm.
Uh, like women like your Del Rey's and your Mercedes Martinez, like they were perfectly built for intergender. Like they're just a tier above everybody else as far as like just talent and everything else. Like they were fucking tremendous. Like Sarah Del Rey was great. But I think it's just yeah. I mean, I guess I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think it can be overdone at times, and I think it can be made to mean more. But I think in this day and age of wrestling, they're sort of breaking down the barriers and trying to eliminate the word women's wrestling and just have it as wrestling. But I think there's times where I think they can make it mean more as well.
Well, I mean, think about it. I think more intergender wrestling happens when wrestlers date each other, and everybody thinks it's fucking hilarious to make them wrestle each other. And I don't know. It's just
But you know what, as well, when people go, oh, but there's no way that this woman can beat this man, it's not realistic. Bro, I've seen a match where Rey Mysterio beat the Big Show, Great Khali, and Kane in a fatal four-way. Don't tell me about fucking believability, bro.
you
Like,
get
come on.
that point.
Yeah, like there's always a thing of that level of believability. And you know what? If it's done right, as you said, you can take people out of that realm of possibility. I've said this before. My wife, not a wrestling fan, just not her cup of tea. She sat down with me once. I was watching an old card which had Lufisto versus Black G's on it. And an intergender wrestling match. She went from the start of the match reading her magazine to halfway through going to near the end of the match, sitting on the thing, cheering on Lufisto, and then it's over. She's like, when did she wrestle again? I'm like, this is 15 years old, but there's a shitload more I can show you. Like,
Man, she took some ass whoopings back in CZW, man.
she did, man. And you know what? She is such like I don't know if you've had the opportunity to speak with her, but she is one
A
of the
little.
most amazing people I've ever had a conversation with. Very very direct, very honest, and just absolutely lovely, lovely human being.
Yeah.
But look, moving forward, man, like what have you guys got coming up, show wise? Where can people sort of start seeing more of you guys 440 and also yourself?
A real big project all of us are a part of is Circle 6. And they actually have a show in Cleveland next Saturday, April 30th, at the Cleveland Masonic Temple. So if anybody is around general area, please come out. It's pretty much our homecoming. This will be the first time since its incarnation that we've all been in Cleveland together. And
Wow.
this will be my first time in 2 years wrestling in Cleveland. And I live in Cleveland.
That's incredible. But yeah, man, like, is the show going to be streamed on Fight TV, IWTV?
I'm not sure. I'd have to double check, to be honest.
Yeah, man, let us know. We can definitely let our viewers know. But it is that time of the show where it is guess the Aussie slang. So I've briefed Eric about this. I've told him how it's going to go down. For those of you tuning in for the first time, this is how it happens. I'm going to give Eric a slang word, a slang phrase. He's going to tell me what it means. For the ones he gets right, we're going to give him a round of applause. For the ones he gets wrong, he gets a horn. So are you ready to get this going? We need to get you prepared for your Australian tour when you come down here. And I'm going to make sure we got you covered how the lingo goes, brother. So you ready to do it?
Yep.
All right. So we're going to start off with this one here. Taking the piss. Are you taking the piss, mate? Taking the piss.
I have no idea.
Okay, so taking the piss means like being sarcastic, like being like joking around. So it'd be like, hey man, I don't know, your match sucked. Are you fucking taking the piss right now? Like, did you hear the fucking pop? Really? So, all right, there we go. We'll find an easier one. All right. Bogan. My Uncle Ronnie is a dead set fucking bogan.
Fuck. An asshole?
No, a bogan is kind of like an Australian redneck. Okay, so a bogan is the most Australian fucking person you can imagine. This is how a bogan would talk, and I'm going to put a heap of shit in this, right? So you won't understand it. Here you go, mate. There be fuck. Hey, you going, mate? Yeah, we go down the local pub. We have a couple of schooners, mate. Maybe a schnitto or something. Pick up a couple of Sheilas. Fucking go back to my house, smoke a couple of bongs, and fucking just pass out. Maybe have a couple of rums. What do you say, Gobber? I can hear the pop in the background, so I've done the bogan right. But that's how bogans talk. All right. Next one is have a crack. Eric, have a crack, mate.
It's like give something a try.
That's correct. Have a crack, mate. Give it a go. Okay. Next is wrap your laughing gear around that.
Wait, say that again.
Wrap your laughing gear around that.
Wrap your wrapping gear around that.
Yeah, wrap your laughing gear around that.
I can't even begin to think of what the fuck that means.
It means, here, try this bit of food. Put this in your mouth. Eat this. All right, so we got a few more.
Not good.
Okay, this one is kind of like the Australian oxymoron. Yeah, but nah. Or yeah, nah. I'll use it in a sentence. Hey, do you want to go to the pub tonight? Yeah, nah.
Kind of like I'd rather not.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like I said, it's the Australian oxymoron where like you say, what is it? Is it yes or no, bitch? Like, tell me. But
it's
all right.
Why that?
Sorry? Yeah.
But you're respectful and saying yeah. I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here's another one. Tar.
Come on, tar.
Tar, mate. Tar.
Like goodbye.
Tar. Tar, mate.
Goodbye.
No, because Australians, we are lazy as fuck. We abbreviate and shorten everything. So tar is short for thanks. Yeah, dude. Hey, man, I'm Australian, and
Ah,
even some of this confuses me. All right. Here's another one. I'll suss it out. Yeah, I'll go down and suss it out, mate.
I'll check it out.
There you go. You got that one. And all right, so we got another one here. Budgie Smuggler. Oh shit, my dad just
Budgie Smuggler.
Budgie Smuggler. Shit. My dad just turned up at my house and he's by the pool and he's in his fucking Budgie Smuggler.
So like another way of saying piss drunk.
No, it's actually a Budgie Smuggler is a Speedo because when you get out of the water when you're wearing a Speedo, it looks, you get what I'm saying, right? Okay.
Okay.
All right, so this is the last one. This is going to be multiple, right? So you need to pay attention on this one. So the words I'm going to use is Servo, Bottle, Macca's. Right? And I'm going to put these three in a sentence for you. Actually, you know what? I've got one more after that, which will be another good one for you. So Servo, Bottle, Macca's. Eric, I need you to swing past the Bottle, pick me up a pack of darts, then swing past the Bottle, pick up a slab, and then maybe go past Macca's on your way through.
Convenience store and cigarettes.
Actually, you know what? Convenience store, Servo's like a petrol station, service station. Darts are cigarettes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what was the second?
Bottle, pick up a slab from the Bottle.
Butcher.
Bottle shop, and a slab is a case of piss or beer.
Okay.
Yeah. And the last one was Macca's.
Macca's.
Yeah.
I'm being told McDonald's.
We're gonna give your we're gonna give your lady the point for that one.
I got it. Sorry, I cheated.
Hey, that's all right. But this next one is gonna be. This is a little blue. This one, okay? So, yeah, that's my sense of humor. So I'm gonna put this one out there. All right. So, all right, you and me, we're out at a bar, right, Eric? You know, just say we're both single dudes, and I say, "Yo, Eric, have you got a spare franger for me, old fella? I just picked up this Sheila, and she's keen for a root."
You need a rubber to bang her.
That's correct. That has been Guess the Aussie Slang with Eric Ryan. Eric, look, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, dude. I've had an amazing conversation with you. This hour has just flown by. I definitely would love to get you back on for a part two. Maybe when you guys are coming down to Australia, we can tee that up. But where can everyone find you? Where can everyone support you, get some merch, and check you out on shows?
Eric Ryan Pro on Twitter, I think it is. Same with Instagram. Check out circle6.com for upcoming shows. They're going to be everywhere. Check out ICW, No Holds Barred, obviously the current American Deathmatch Champion. Planning on keeping that until we come down to Australia and making it an official world title. So let's get this fucking going.
Yeah.
And that internationally. And as far as like official 440 merch, we're segueing into a new venture and kind of like a new area of where to sell and make our merch. So that would be something in the future. So just kind of keep your eyes on the 440 Twitter or something like that until we get things up and running.
There you go, guys. Eric, again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you giving up this time on your Saturday night to come and talk with me. It's much appreciated. Guys, please make sure you go and check out our sponsors, healthvape.com and sleeves.com. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Guys, wherever you were listening to us, wherever you were tuning in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, share, like, comment, all that good shit. If you're finding us on a podcast platform, please give us a 5-star review. We appreciate it. But guys, it's time for us to ride off into the sunset. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you again very, very soon. Till then, take care. Peace.